Public Works meeting tonight, right? Committee meeting tonight, all right? Assistant Chief Hicks is here with us tonight. Troy Riggs, I think everybody knows, Public Safety Director. Holgen, Steve is filling in for Rick Bowers tonight. Appreciate that very much. Education Innovation, Manny Mendez, who is the Office of Audit and Performance. If you knew what he did on a daily basis, you'd be stunned. That's the gentleman right there. Okay. Let's go through some slides real fast. I think they put a lot on here tonight. Let's see. Where should I be? I got to get it the right way. All right. Okay, everybody's always interested in this, but I would tell you can see the trend over the last few years. The last 3 years have been under, I get, not heated up, but people try to say things, but look, we've been below 100 the last 3 years, and we're trending. I'm not sure we're going to get there this year, Frank. We had a very tough beginning of the year. We had a very tough June. But the police have been doing a terrific job. Certain things are going on right now as we speak, and let's just say that they're making some good progress, looks like to me. So I don't want people to get, this is what cities are usually judged on. The rest of the crime in the city is down about 10%. Violent crime is probably down 5 or 6%. Does that sound right? That sound right? So I just want to be honest about where we are right now. The violent crimes in that time frame, January to August, down 17% in this area. And property crimes are down 14%. Pretty dramatic. As you know, we're rearranging how we do the business a little bit, and we're putting 160 more officers in the run queue now. 40 additional officers who fill kind of desk jobs. We're going to give those to civilians and put them back out on the street also. And then we have recruit classes coming in. Hopefully a lot of you know this. I think it says 500. I think one of the 50 largest companies, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll have hundreds of electric cars running around on what we call a car sharing program, kind of like a bike sharing program, point-to-point subscription service. Create a few jobs, obviously, but hundreds of cars, over 1,000 charging stations in about 200 different locations. We are the first city in the nation to have this. It's coming out of Paris. The first city in the world to have it was Autoliv, because Vince Ballard lives in Paris, and he largely did it on his own dime. He was looking for an entry point into the United States because of what we announced last December on the move to post-oil technology. They tell me that he said, we got to go talk to that mayor, and they did come talk to us. We were in competition with those cities, but they said we'll be the first city up. We should have everything operational by next May. Everything should be operational by next May, and in a few weeks I'm heading over there to talk to him, and also he wants me to open up a battery factory in Brittany, so I have to take some sort of plane up to Brittany and open up a battery factory too, I guess. But so we'll do that, but it's important for the future of the city. This is about creating the kind of city where people want to live in. This is a transportation option that no one will have this on the scale that we're going to have it. Bike share is coming also, again, by next spring, funded by a grant, which is nice, be managed by the Cultural Trail. And again, we get a lot of kudos for our bicycle. I was a speaker at the National Bike Summit just a few months ago. We get areas, Harlan Avenue, South Keystone, Edgewood, and Shelby, and all of that. And people say, yeah, this is going up, rates going up. Yes, but when you look at this, and you see where we are right now, which is the bottom red, compared to these other cities. Can you read those other cities? I hope you can. Yeah, you can from here. My eyes are getting worse every day. See, Columbus, Ohio, even Fishers, Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana, and the new rate is still very, very low, that green line there. So please don't think that we're trying to gouge anybody. That is not happening. You can see the stormwater rate right there. Potholes are a story ever since Rebuild Indy. 5-6 years ago, I told people that, yeah, we're fixing potholes faster than ever before, but the truth is, we didn't want to fix the potholes. We wanted to have good roads, and I think you've seen that. And pothole requests are down about 75%, generally speaking, because we resurfaced so many roads, as you've seen. And now, because of, again, Six Sigma and the way we've been able to do the process improvement, The average time to get one fixed went from 13 days down to about 2.5 days right now. Pretty big. You know, a lot of things that are going on that have already been done down here, Hannah Avenue by U of Indy and Shelby Street, storm drainage, all of those things. Bike lanes have been done down here, Shelby and Madison. I think you know all that. We got a lot more going on as long as the council passes this bond. There was out to people on not all of them, but almost all of them, to say, hey, did this get fixed? You now can go online or take a picture of it, send it in directly. This is so different than what it was just a few years ago. It is so different, and it's been rather remarkable. So I give Sarah and her team just a tremendous amount of credit for how this has turned around. Okay, and we'll go from there. Doctor, are you ready? Just so you know, I usually don't answer most of the questions because you're asking at a level of detail that probably these people know and I don't. So maybe, we'll see.
Well, good evening, Mayor. I know you would want to recognize a small claims court, Judge Fox.
That's right. I said hi to him. That's right, Judge. Thank you.
You may want to give him applause.
Yeah, that's right.
And we have a list of questions for the openness that is in your administration. I got to tell you, as a superintendent of schools, I can pick up the phone anytime, any day, hour, or night, and I pick up the phone, and each one of your staff members is there, ready to assist and help us in any issues that we have facing the education of children. All right, first one, thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
We have a number of questions. I'll begin. We kind of lump these into themes that they will follow. First question of the night would be, where does West Thompson Road stand on the priority list for drainage help?
We just want them to do the right thing by this because there's a lot of momentum with that EID, everything that's happening. You know, we cut a ribbon there a few days ago on the north end of Madison, which the gateway to the south, which I think is tremendous, and there's a lot of people involved. So I'm hoping that everybody kind of comes together on that and to make sure that we get that done, because sometimes you got to take charge of yourself, and that's what the EIDs do. And you'll get the support from us. We just need to make sure that we do the right thing with the council and put the right information in the council's hands so they can make the right.
There was a question regarding increased time to reevaluate the intersection of Southport and 37.
37.
I'm Larry Jones. I'm with DPW Engineering, and the intersection at Southport and State Road 37 is the jurisdiction of NDOT. So if you'll come up and talk to me afterwards, we'll get the information and get that information to NDOT, and then we can get back to you and let you know where they are in planning on that. But it's an NDOT intersection.
Well, that's it. We have NDOT in the back over here, who's doing looking at the split, the downtown split for highway. So I don't know. You don't know anything, do you? Okay. All right. So either one, if you talk to him or come down to Larry.
To come to Indianapolis every year. Roughly, that is averaging about 1,000 refugees per year. So about 2/3 of those come through Exodus, and 1/3 comes through Catholic Charities. Related to the state laws and safety, was that your third one?
Yes.
The third question?
Yes. Related to state have here in the United States.
Well, what I know about that is that essentially when the refugees come, you know, like many of you, the first 90 days that you're here, you're working with the resettlement agencies on life resettlement issues. So getting housing, getting schools, learning how to maneuver, you know, with shopping and grocery stores and things like that. And I would think that that would be part of that first 90-day training. I'm not certain, but if anybody can share information about that, I'd be happy to defer to someone else. I don't know.
If you need something past that, come down afterwards, okay? And we'll take that to heart, and we may have to do something because to be learned, I guess, more that needs to be learned on that. You know, on the driver's license and everything else, you have to pass the driver's license, and all those signs are in English. I'm sure you know that, so that's part of it. But we certainly can look at that and see what programs are available, either at the state, if not, if we have to do something, we'll have to look at it. Okay, so let us know afterwards, please.
Next item is basically
Water in the streets that we're looking for right there is pretty low compared to what most cities are going through right now.
Next question. We are excited about your street enhancements. Is the south side on that list?
The street enhancements?
Yes.
Well, there's been a lot of money put down here, as you're quite aware, and there's more coming. If we get this new one, this new $350 million, that will give us in the area of $800 million of improvements in about a 6 or 7 year period. Traditionally, we spend about $10 to $20 million a year. Now think about that. All right, and I'll give you a scale the scale I really like to use is on bridges. Larry's told me before that we usually do 1 to 2 bridges a year. Right, Larry? In this 6 year period with the rebuild, 9-0. Now think about that. That's the scale of rebuild Indy. And you can put that to streets and sidewalks and everything else. From 1 to 2 bridges a year to 90 in a 6 or 7 year period if we can get this last piece.
And I know you have a strong focus on sidewalks as well.
We do. We have a lot of sidewalks that are going to go on. It's not as many as I want. I was telling the group in there that this next batch is going to do a lot of sidewalk work that we want. It's not enough. I've had the DPW folks work out what the numbers are to try to get all the thoroughfares done, and we're trying to find another, frankly, $300 million.
I guess in a general sense, I can't speak on that subdivision right now, but I do have an inventory with me that shows what we know is bad or what we would like to do if the money becomes available. So if whoever asked that question would come see me, I can show you the street list that we've got. And if we don't know about it, I'll write down the locations and we'll get an engineer out to take a look at it. And maybe it needs to be on the inventory. We do have an inventory going on currently that's going to be completed at the year and give us condition for everything. We just don't have it yet. So we're still on the old-fashioned method of if you get a hold of us, we'll look at it and see if it needs to be on the list. And then we'll consider when the funding becomes available. So please come see me if you've got questions on that. And if I have the information, I'll share it with you. If not, we'll take a look at it and we'll get back to you.
And just so you know, we can't get to absolutely everything. I'd love to, just cannot. But like I said, the scale of what we're doing is pretty far out there.
This is one talking about the Pacers. How do we balance the city government needs versus the Pacers?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, I know that was in the paper today, but here's what's happening. It's a little misleading. You have to understand Casolo Stadium. Anybody know? The CIB does, right? Who runs Bankers Life Fieldhouse? CIB does not run it. For $1 million probably. And so what you're reading about is the ability to run the building. Somebody has to run the building. And that's really what this is. Just so you know, we're going to ensure that they would stay here for a long time because, I mean, there are 900, almost 900 direct jobs right then and there. Not to mention all the indirect jobs with the restaurants downtown, the hotels, on and on and on. All those things that attract people into the city. Not to mention businesses want to come to a city that have pro sports. And you may agree or disagree with how those are funded, but the fact is businesses want that, and that's part of the attraction of their workforce, which is mighty important. This is not funded out of your income and property taxes. This is funded out of separate essentially sales taxes in different sports areas that stay within there, and then maybe some other things here and there to help out, but generally speaking, those things are not in the city budget, just so you know.
I have 2 questions focused on the use of taxes. first question would be, why is there no paperwork on committees, and what have they done for the money allowed to? And what gives the power to groups to invest our taxes?
Okay, why do the committees not have any?
Yeah, there's no paperwork on committees,
I assume you're talking about council committees.
and what have they done for the money that's been allowed to?
Okay, you'd have to talk to the council president to produced. We don't have much influence on that. So, but I would suggest that you keep going back to the assessor and saying, what is fair, what is fair, what is fair. I would suggest that you do that. So that's where that is.
The next topic is panhandling, and the ordinance is currently in the municipal code. It just is not enforced. Can we enforce it countywide?
You want me to take that, or yeah? That's a hot topic right now, to be honest with you. You have to balance what's happening with First Amendment rights, and that's what the federal good enough. That's why we're trying to put a new ordinance in that has been vetted through the Federal Court of Appeals in a few other cities. Some people like that, some people don't like that. But I'm not sure how much this audience knows, but let's be clear. These panhandlers are not homeless. All right? They're not homeless. This is a scam. So please know that. Because we really are trying to help the homeless. There's Wheelers and Salvation Army and so many other agencies. And we know the homeless population. The police know the homeless population. We know who they are. So that part is, that's separate and that's working. But these panhandlers are affecting the business. Can it be affected countywide? Yes. There are limited resources, and I've got...
The question is, can we ban these from residential districts?
Doubtful. Right there. Yeah, I don't think the state would ever do that.
It would be very difficult to do so. I will tell you that one of the things that we're looking at, which may be the beginning of getting that accomplished, is looking at if we can ban fireworks in the downtown area. If there's an incident going on, if someone's firing fireworks, so we would like to approach the state, and maybe if we do something like that, eventually it could evolve into something along those lines. But that's an uphill fight in itself.
It is, and we'd have to take on this. It's state law essentially, and they control all of that.
Our next topic is high weeds and overgrown wild trees. Can we get those cut in our neighborhood? We've called the mayor's action line, complained for at least 3 years, and nothing's been done. They put drainage ditches at each end of the neighborhood about 20 years ago, and they never have been cleaned out. Weeds on property of city and neighborhoods are at least 5 feet high.
My name is Steve Wolf, and I am filling in for Director Rick Powers. I'm a deputy director with the department, and I think I really appreciate the question and appreciate the chance to talk about one of our...
Make sure Steve or I know the address, or Amanda, if you'll raise your hand as MAC administrator. Also, if you come or by phone and you're not satisfied with the results, please share that during an outbound call. Call back and ask for a supervisor, and we'd be happy to assist you. Larry, are you in the position to tackle the forestry question, or shall I? Okay, anyone else from forestry before anybody else? Okay, so forestry is a function of our Department of Public Works. They work very hard in trying to make sure that they cut back brush and trees. And depending on the scenario, if that's at an intersection in public right-of-way, clearly they're responsible. If it's on private property, it is usually that your focus is tackling weeds once you've tried to cite the owner. Is that correct? Right. So trees might be a little bit tougher subject, but again, between the
Just so you know, if something hasn't happened, if you hear something is amiss and somebody's not understanding what's being told to them, so please understand that, because the phones are being answered, and the high weeds and grass is actually a tremendous success story over the last 2 or 3 years. So there's a little disconnect there. Let's make sure we talk about that.
It's another question about a neighborhood and a house upkeep. The home in the neighborhood that is piling boxes, furniture on their porch, and it's flowing into the driveway.
We've got currently 2 other added travel lane design. We did compare the next phase of Emerson to County Line to I-65 with the ones that were selected, and the need was higher at other locations in the city. So we're definitely aware of the need to continue that to match up to what Johnson County did, the 4-lane section that's south of County Line. It's just right now the best bang for our buck as far as the most people having the least amount of delay, or in others on a regular basis for long-range planning, and it's definitely in the queue. We're aware of it, and it's just a matter of when it becomes the highest priority that we have. So there's just limited resources that we're working with.
Mayor, there's another question referencing the same area regarding sidewalks. And they're asking why aren't sidewalks on both sides, and why are some sidewalks adjacent to the curb? It's not safe for pedestrians or bikes with cars at 40 miles per hour.
There's a variety of reasons for that, I guess would be the answer. A lot of the problem that we currently have now was created when the city adopted Unigas to have sidewalks in the county. A lot of different situations that we encounter throughout the county tied to roadside ditches, lack of right-of-way, and that requires in a lot of cases for us to narrow down the roadway.
And just, I mean, we can't get everything done clearly, but a lot of these sidewalks, I mean, it's just the way it is. And so because of the way they were designed earlier, and I've told the DPW team, just so you know, that we want to get as many sidewalks in as possible, and I'm not interested in buying right-of-way anymore. I want people to give us that right-of-way. I mean, there may be exceptional cases, but you know what? If you want a sidewalk, then talk to your neighbors and make them give up that right-of-way if you want that sidewalk to go through. Because it costs the city a lot of money to do that, and we've got pretty big priorities on sidewalks, and we want people to give up that right-of-way so we can build that sidewalk in there.
There's a question regarding stormwater assessments and how they're made. Will you please consider not just how much impermeable surface area is on a parcel, but how much water is actually leaving the lot? In other words, as if that water is flowing into the stormwater system.
Presently, the city uses an assessment based strictly on impervious surface, and this is a methodology that's been in place since 2001. It's a methodology that's used in
CIB.
I mean, it's just market-driven as to what that is. Now, I would tell you both teams have seats that are lower cost, much lower cost, actually. The Pacers in particular have that. So I know I've sat in some of those seats. So I know they have that, and I think the Coles have similar. So, I mean, that's where it is. But at the same time, the market drives so much of this, and that's just the way it is.
And our final question for the evening that has been turned in is regarding the bilingual Chin-speaking group. Is it a priority to hire bilingual Chin-speaking staff in DCS? And what is your strategy for cultural appropriateness in DCS and the foster system?
If you are talking about, share that feedback with them, and we'd be happy to do that, but that is out of the mayor and city's jurisdiction. But we can definitely take that question and pass it along to get, hopefully, some services connected.
Just to let you know, DCS has expanded their call centers, so there are positions that are available even as we speak. Just go on to the website, the in.gov,
state website, and you should be able to find the DCS job application and apply for those positions.
Mayor's Council, so that they can take a look at what's been most productive for this evening. So on your way out, on a table on your right-hand side on your way out, please pick up a form and complete it. Mayor, I'd like to thank you for coming out this evening very much.
Thank you, Dr. Little. Appreciate it very much. And anybody that we ask to come down on particular questions or things, and we'll hang out a little bit anyway, please come down. It's important to us. We want to get the right answer to you, okay? Thank you so much. Thank you.
Have a safe trip home.